Hi, have you ever wondered if God's got your number? Well, I'd like for you to listen to this true story that happened to me. It was a cool September day after I'd taken the children to school that I was standing at the sink washing dishes, getting ready for a busy day. When the phone rang, I answered it. A lady said, "Is this 674-3251?" I said, "Yeah." "Well," she said, "I'm down at the hospital, and I asked the nurse for a box of tissues. And when she brought it to me, this number was written on the bottom of the box." I said, "Wow, that's interesting. I wonder how that happened. I've never been to that hospital before." "Well, I don't know," she said, "but I thought I'd call and see whose number it is." "Well, my name is Jeannie McCoy, and I live here in town." "How long have you been in the hospital?" "Well, a few days," she said. "My doctor is doing some tests. I've been sick. And so I don't know how long I'll be down here." "Okay," I said. "Well, have you had family or friends come by to see you?" "Well, my family's real small," she said, "and they're busy, and they come when they can." "Okay. Well, how about a pastor? Do you have a pastor here in town?" "Well, no," she said, I really don't. I kind of left the church some years back." "All right. So I'm thinking, God, are you up to something?" And I said, "Would you like for me to come see you?" "Well, yeah," she said, I think I'd like that." "Okay." So we hung up after setting a time, and I hurriedly made some beds and took care of a few things, got dressed, and went straight to the hospital. I found her room and introduced myself, and before long I was sitting down by her bed, and we were just visiting, talking about various and sundry things, and I was surprised at some of the things, very personal things, that she began to share with me. I prayed with her before I left that day and told her I'd be back on another day if she'd like for me to come. She did. A time was set. And a few days later I returned to the hospital to visit with her. By now we were very comfortable with one another, and over the next few days, which led into a few weeks, she told me just about everything in her life, all the good and bad of it, all the broken hearts, all the disappointments. She'd left the church disappointed in people. She'd left the Bible, she'd left her prayers, she'd left God. But I was wondering what God was up to, because she was sick and things were really serious in her life. Finally I said to her, we get a backlog of hurts. There's nobody in this life that's not going to get wounded sometime or other. And I shared with her some of my pain. Oh, she began to understand. And I said, God told me if I would forgive this mess and hand it over to Him, He could relieve me of it. And so the next visit, she said to me, "God and I had a little visit last night, and I told him all those things I told you. And after I talked to him about it and told him I was going to forgive the whole mess like you said, I felt so much better." I said, "That's great. I'm so glad you and God are getting on well together." Then one day I called and someone else answered the phone. And I found out she had died during the night. I grieved. I was sad that I wasn't going to get to see her that week. I missed her. But I was glad too that in that short friendship that we had, God let us share Him together. And I saw peace come back into her face. I saw her give up her burden. And I knew that God not only had my number, He had hers. His eye is on the sparrow. And He has your number today.